All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Basic Shy Girl podcast. If you didn't already know, my name is Ikea, and welcome to the first official redo episode of my podcast because I am officially starting my podcast over on YouTube. I was doing it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but for some reason I cannot post on there, and I really do want to continue this podcast. I thought, once it started messing up and I couldn't post, that I really wouldn't want to do this anymore. Like, maybe this is just not for me, but God gave me a voice and I'm gonna use it. So if since I believe this is everybody's first time hearing about my podcast, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what's this about. The Basic Shy Girl podcast is where me, your Basic Shy Girl, is just going to be talking to you about life, society, different topics on movies and TV shows and reviews, maybe, and stuff like that. It's just, this podcast is to defy everyone's expectation. I'm sorry, that's my mini fridge. This podcast is to defy everybody's expectations of what a shy person's life is really like, because I believe I'm one of the most entertaining people there is. It's just, shy people don't have all the confidence in the world to, show it because they don't want people to think that you're weird or something like that. But through this podcast, I feel like I could, express all that weirdness and that funniness, um, even if it's just for a little bit, and just to help me and all of the shy people all around the world, like mostly people who you like see in school, or there's some even people like adults who are out in public who are like that, social anxiety, if you know what I'm talking about. Just to help us all break out of our shell. I know, like, when I was coming up with the concept of this idea, it was just for me to break out of my shell. But what if, like, I could connect with a bunch of shy people all around the world who's just like me, who, wants to speak out, but, is, afraid of being themselves, if you know what I mean, and just afraid of being judged by people, and, who is, always looked at all the time. And who the shy people, you know what I'm talking about. You wondering, like, people like laugh at you or pick on you or think you're constantly depressed because you never talk to anybody, which is certainly not the case in all of shy people's life. Because I can tell you, right now in my life, I'm pretty happy. I'm not depressed. I'm gonna graduate in a few months. I'm stressed a lot. I didn't think being a senior would come with this much stress, but it does. But one thing I am not anymore is depressed. But if, like, I know, like, how it feels to, like, have, like, something weighing on you that makes you, like, so closed off from everybody. Like, that's kind of my situation now, like, why I am closed off and haven't broken out of my shell, even though I feel like I almost, like, was at that point. Just life decided to slap me in the face and give me a pimple on the side of my nose, which I apologize for, by the way. um but yeah, I know I'm going off the bat here, but usually when I say on my podcast every episode is that this is gonna feel like we're friends on FaceTime, because I'm friends on FaceTime are not always 100% fluent with each other, and especially since it's just me talking, then I'm not always going to be 100% fluent with you guys. So if you expect something that, then you probably should be watching a different podcast. But yeah, that's not be 100% fluent. Was one of the reasons that I would hold off on doing an episode. But I may not be the most qualified person to do a podcast. I may not be the most prettiest person to film a video doing a podcast, but I believe I am the person to do a podcast like this, the Basic Shy Girl podcast. Yeah, just to connect with my basic shy people. One thing I did want to say that if you this is just my intro episode, just to get you guys into a little bit of what my podcast is about and a little bit about me. But I do have other episodes of my podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Just look up Basic Shy Girl podcast on there and listen to those episodes. And if you believe that they're entertaining, come back to this YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and I will start making more videos. I'm gonna let you guys be the judge on whether or not I'm entertaining. Like, I feel like I have so much to talk about, like, about, you know, what goes on in this world, and like different like movies and TV shows and stuff like that. Like, for example, Outer Banks season 3 comes out February 23rd. It is so freaking unhealthy how obsessed I am with this show, and I wanted a review episode on it, and it comes out on a Thursday, which was usually my schedule when I was doing Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you want to see a review of the season, because I plan on watching the whole thing in one sitting. I did it last season, and it took me a while, but you know, no regrets. And I calculated like the time of each episode because I'm on Twitter, and there's a whole lot of spoilers on Twitter. I'm not gonna tell you any of them, but they show like the time frame of every episode, and I'm not sure if they're true or not. But I added up the time, and it would take me exactly 7 hours to watch the entire season in one sitting. And you know what? I'm not going to be ashamed at all. Maybe saw this picture that this girl had, her mom had said, she set her doctor's appointment for February 23rd, and she said, no, I can't do that. That's the day Outer Banks season 3 come on. Like, it is quite frankly disgusting how obsessed I am with this show. And another thing, I have been becoming really, really frustrated on how this world has been, you know, working in regards to race. If you didn't hear, another black man just died by cops. And although those cops were black, that does not make it any better. I feel like cops always feel like what I feel like now, they have such a position of power over, you know, regular people, when that is not the case at all. God didn't make any human above any other human besides Jesus Christ. Like, I really want to know what white man in America, like 100 some years ago, I don't know, had the audacity to think that slavery and was only for black people. Because I have read the whole entire Bible, and nowhere does it mention what skin color were the people who were in slavery. Like, I really just want to give them a slap in the face. Because the audacity, the egomaniac, whoever this white man is, I know he's probably dead right now, and I'm not going to say anything bad about the dead no matter what they did, but, you know, it's just it just irks me that these policemen and these racist people always think that they're better than anybody because of skin of their color. Like I said, we're not made to put above anybody. Jesus Christ is the only human that is put above every other human. As you guys can tell, I'm very passionate about some of the stuff that goes on, and you know, God gave me a voice, so I'm gonna use it. And I don't care what other people think about me. I don't care what other people might have to say about the way that I look or the way that I operate. I'm going to live out my purpose, and it's through this podcast. It's through helping my basic shy people, you know, break out of their shell and let you know you are never alone. I'm sorry if I'm not making that much eye contact. It's kind of weird for me to look like directly at this thing at the camera. I'm doing it on my iPhone. But yeah, like I said, nobody is going to stop me from telling, you know, just expressing myself, basically. I have been closed off for too long, and I have kept in, you know, my quirkiness, if that's what you call it, and my weirdness and my thoughts in for too long. And through this podcast, I'm going to break out of my shell. So if you believe that I could be of any entertainment, please subscribe. Please give me ideas of what it is that what it is that you guys want for me to talk about. And I even may do like some in-house vlogs, because me and my brothers and my family, we're pretty much probably the weirdest people you would ever meet if you lived a day in our house. So I just like, I plan on doing some videos with my brothers and, you know, my family, because if you see us out in public, yes, we're the most socially awkward people who don't like big crowds or anything, but when we're together and we're in our home, we could be weird and silly and funny and mess with each other and beat each other up and all that type of stuff. So I just want people to see that. I want my shy people to see that and know that it's okay to, express yourself and break out of your shell and not care what other people think, like, for the longest time. And one of the reasons I've held off on recording an episode or even doing this like video face to face is because I was scared of what other people would think of me. But not anymore, not anymore. There's nothing anybody could say that I will let affect me, because I've been given the talent and I'm gonna use it, and I'm not gonna go buy another year just sitting in my room basically on my phone. I can't really. I'm gonna graduate in a few months. So yeah, like I said, if you believe I could be an eating salmon, first go watch my previous episodes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or just subscribe to this channel if you think that I could be a good like one-on-one person. I'm gonna try to make more eye contact with you guys and help me come up with an outro, because I'm getting weirded out that I'm going on like this. And yeah, and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. This was much easier when I was 13 and tried to be a YouTuber. Now I'm 19 and then yeah. Anyways, I will be trying to post every Thursday, and on my Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I forgot to mention, this is an episode about my past mental health, and if you can't watch that, I can redo, talk about it on here. But yeah, it's just to let my shy people know that they're not alone, and I told them myself as my first episode, the things that I've been through, like some of the things that have caused me to be very closed off. So I definitely would want you to go listen to that, just so I'm not doing this like for clout or just to, talk. I really do want to connect with my shy people. I hope you all have a great Super Bowl Sunday, and I hope you all do subscribe to my channel and leave a comment, even if they're negative. I could take it. I'll see you guys Thursday with whatever I come up with to talk about. Peace out.